This is a UR News Channel 3 Hurricane Special, Surviving the Storm.
Hurricane season. It's a time when many of us enjoy the beaches and Hampton Roads.
It's also the time of the year that we need to be ready for the danger that could arrive right here. History has shown that storm after storm has invaded our coast.
It's not a matter of if another hurricane will strike, it's when.
If you're unprepared, a hurricane can wipe out everything you have, including your life.
But with the right plan and the proper knowledge, you, your family, and your home will survive the storm. On average, Virginia gets hit by one tropical storm a year. The number may not sound alarming, but all it takes is one storm to destroy lives and property. Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina have experienced their fair share of devastation and destruction one storm can cause. Back in 1999, Hurricane Floyd moved into Virginia as a Category 1 storm. Floyd's winds weren't noteworthy, but the rain sure was. The flood damage was incredible. Floyd dumped up to 20 inches on parts of Hampton Roads. Downtown Franklin was devastated. Floyd damaged or destroyed more than 200 businesses there. Flooding alone caused nearly $40 million in damage. Fast forward to 2003, Hurricane Isabel slamming into North Carolina as a Category 2 storm. 7 days earlier, she was a monster, Category 5, with winds of 166 miles per hour. Even though she weakened, the damage she caused was expansive. Her winds gusted beyond 90 miles per hour. The storm surge was 6 to 8 feet above normal tide levels. Roads and homes flooded, docks were destroyed, beaches along the Outer Banks were eliminated. Isabel continued moving north and demolished the Harrison Fishing Pier in Ocean View. Flooding rains swept across Hampton Roads and the rest of Virginia. Isabel caused more than $625 million in damage in Virginia alone. 36 Virginians died. While we know that hurricanes are always a threat in Hampton Roads, a recent poll shows us most of us don't feel threatened. 15% told the Mason-Dixon poll they would not evacuate even if ordered to do so. Thousands of people in New Orleans did not evacuate before Hurricane Katrina. More than 1,300 died. The poll also reveals that more than half the people still do not feel threatened by hurricanes. The director of the National Hurricane Center hopes you realize the danger we all face and are ready for hurricane season.
We've got to start preparing, and I'm asking them, so many of them, they've got to start thinking in terms of what is a hurricane all about? And what can I do to protect myself, my family, my business?
When a hurricane strikes, storm surge washes out roads, tornadoes demolish homes, and fierce winds knock down power lines. But flooding is the most deadly hazard associated with hurricanes. It also causes extensive damage.
Debbie Lyons knows the damage flooding can cause. She's lived in Chesapeake for 20 years and spent the last 5 of them cleaning up the damage from Hurricane Isabel. Without flood insurance, she'd be living in a different zip code.
It's nature, and that you're going to get through it, and you work as a team, and you do get through it.
Nearly a foot of water covered the floors of Debbie's home. Every wall and floor had to be replaced. In fact, to ensure this doesn't happen again, Debbie's home became the first in Chesapeake to be raised. It now sits at 10.5 feet above sea level. The total bill was more than $70,000. Without flood insurance, she could not have rebuilt.
I wouldn't be living here, that's for sure.
You may not think you need flood insurance, but experts say just about everyone should have it.
Even if your neighbors have never seen it flood or you have never seen it flood, you don't know what's going to happen, and it could flood at any time. So everybody needs flood insurance.
Flood insurance takes 30 days to kick in, so if you aren't already covered, get it today before the next storm of the season strikes and leaves your possessions floating.
If I lived in a non-flood zone, I would still have flood insurance.
If you live in a flood-prone area, your mortgage company will require flood insurance. But even if it's not required and your area has never flooded, flood insurance is probably a good idea. Agents say at the very least get structural coverage. Paying a little extra for contents coverage is well worth the money.
Another hurricane hazard, storm surge. It causes severe coastal flooding, especially when the storm surge moves in with high tide. This 3D model, run at the United States Joint Forces Command, simulates the effects of storm surge in Norfolk. Right now, we're watching as a Category 3 storm with a 12-foot storm surge pushed downtown Norfolk underwater. Seeing is believing, and seeing just how high the water will rise and how far storm surge will push inland gives emergency planners a great advantage during hurricanes.
the first responders, the planners can actually make a determination on what's the highest ground.
During an average hurricane season, we can expect 10 named storms, and at least 2 of those will become major hurricanes. But according to long-range forecasters at Colorado State University, we can expect much more than that. They predict at least 17 named storms with winds of at least 39 miles per hour. 9 of those will turn into full-fledged hurricanes, and 5 will be major, with winds of over 110 miles per hour. Researchers at the University of Central Florida are making their own predictions. They're forecasting that Carteret County in North Carolina has more than a 20% chance of getting hit by hurricane-force winds this season. The rest of the Outer Banks has at least a 15% chance of being socked by winds of 74 miles per hour or more.
Regardless of the forecast, hurricane specialists urge everyone to get ready.
Whatever that seasonal forecast says, don't change your preparedness plan, because all it takes is one storm.
We haven't had a hurricane in this area. I've never seen a hurricane before. We're going to be fine, and that's what absolutely is the wrong thing to do.
We've already had 2 named storms this year.
Andrea and Barry both impacted Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina, so we're getting closer to that forecast of 17 named storms, which would bring us through Rebecca by the end of hurricane season, November 30th.
If a hurricane is heading for Hampton Roads, the National Weather Service will issue a hurricane watch or warning. A hurricane watch is issued when winds of at least 74 miles per hour are expected within 36 hours. A hurricane warning is issued when hurricane-force winds are expected within 24 hours. That's not enough time to make all your preparations. You need to be ready long before a watch, warning, or evacuation is issued. We'll spend the rest of this half hour giving you the information you need to keep your family, your pets, and your home protected from any storm that strikes. Step 1, build a hurricane kit. Coming up, we'll go shopping with Vanessa for the supplies every family needs to ride out the storm at home. Plus, if the storm is really bad, you won't want to be at home. Find out how officials plan to help you evacuate before a devastating storm arrives. Throughout the next half hour, we'll also look back at some of history's biggest storms.